from CNN on my computer, and I never signed up for that. All I get are updates about Trump. It's really...
I think we're on.
Oh. All right. Well, we're back with another episode of That's Healthy, Right? Where we make sense of the news. So Adam has to. Or you don't have to.
Right. You even confused me on that one.
Yeah, I did. Throwing curveballs at you right now.
We do have a cameraman this week.
We do, finally.
We still don't have microphones.
No, so it's still going to echo.
Right.
But, so it's finally snowing again, back to February.
It's been really warm. I know. When we were talking about this episode, we were like, I'm going to talk about how hot it is.
Yeah.
And then it snowed today.
Snowed today like crazy. But it did lead me, we will get back on track now, it did lead me when I was looking at articles, I came across one that was 6 things people get wrong about abs.
Oh, because you were thinking about warm weather.
Well,
taking your shirt off.
Yeah, I just know from everything that I'm learning, in order for me to get these abs just uncovered from what I did during the winter, it's about time to start looking into that.
Okay.
Okay, if I want to hit the beach ready to go, which I don't really know what beach I
yeah.
hit here. But, okay, number 2, this actually came from Men's Fitness.
Okay.
And number 2 on their list, when it said 6 things people get wrong, yeah, about abs. Number 2 was you need to train abs every day. That was the quote. That's kind of the misconception. And they said that
every day.
You do not need to train abs every day, and that if you do, you will eventually reach an overtrained state. Now, when I read that, my question that I know we receive a lot is when or should people be concerned in general about overtraining?
Right.
Especially when they're trying to design a program where they're going to the gym a lot, trying to get back in shape. Is that something to be concerned about? And really, what is overtraining?
Right. So this is like a mixed bag because they actually have some good advice.
Yes.
And then some misguided advice. And the good advice was like, don't train abs every day. And we can discuss that in a moment if you want, or not. Just don't train abs every day. It's like any other muscle.
I will follow up with that.
Okay, because it's ab season.
It's ab season. I'm doing squats and I need to know.
Okay, and so that's not bad advice, but the idea, so like, okay, I shouldn't train abs every day, but I'm afraid to train abs because of overtraining isn't very accurate. Because it's very hard to overtrain yourself. And overtraining is like an actual, really just host of physical breakdown. You can't sleep at night, everything hurts, you have like a lack of mental clarity, you can't live the way that you normally live. This is different than like a little bit of soreness, a little bit of fatigue. These symptoms of overtraining, like you don't even have hunger. Like you can go and just like not even feel like you want food. It is very, very bad because it affects you on a global level. That said, the idea of training more than you need to see results is far different than overtraining. It's a semantics thing. You hear overtraining, you're like, I'm training too much. But overtraining is actually like, think of it almost like a medical or a clinical term. Like this is a problem that you have caused with your body where you need to like step back from your workouts versus you're training in a way that is not going to give you the results that you want. So if you're to train your abs every day, it's highly unlikely that you're going to suffer from overtraining. But if you're training it every day, it's probably not the best route.
So is it kind of a difference between, there's like the clinical definition of overtraining,
right?
Versus at some point you will see, if you go to do squats every day, you're going to see diminishing returns. Like from some point, you're just not going to make gains anymore.
Right.
But I think that's an interesting point though, because when you think about it from the standpoint of like, oh, I'm sore, and then not work out for 3 or 4 days,
right?
Because I'm sore, I'm going to be overtraining.
Think about it this way. It's like if you were to go to your trainer versus if you were to go to your doctor. If you're training in a way that's not getting you results, if you go to your doctor and you're like, I'm really sore, and you run a bunch of blood work, he's like, you're fine.
Right.
I'm gonna do too many sets at 10. If you go to your trainer, he's like, yeah, you're beating yourself up in a way that you're not going to make progress. Whereas if you actually have overtraining, the doctor would go and give you a physical examination and be like, you have something wrong.
Right.
So it's that differentiation, which is why it's so easy to be confused. But when it comes to abs, your abs are like any other muscle. So the idea that you want to train it like every single, would you train your chest 7 days a week? Hopefully not. If you are, I would
I
recommend.
think you do.
Damn it. Maybe back in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe back in the day, but not so much anymore. So it's one of those things where you want to train a muscle, depending on what muscle it is, anywhere between 1 to 3, maybe 4 times a week, again, depending on the programming. So most people with their abs can get away with training 2 to 3 times per week and having phenomenal results. Bumping it up to 5 or 6 days a week, not going to be anything that's going to give you quicker or better results. And more importantly, if you end up training your abs so frequently, it can have a detrimental effect on the rest of your workout. We talk about this, that a lot of people believe that you can get like great abs just by doing squats or deadlifts. And squats and deadlifts and other compound exercises do work your core, it's involved. But additional ab work is beneficial for a host of reasons, not only giving you stronger abs, but also protecting your lower back, protecting your body, preventing you from injury.
Yeah.
So if you're doing squats and deadlifts, but you are smoking your abs 6 days a week, when it comes time to squat or deadlift, your abs are going to be fatigued. And the problem with that is it's going to become the brake in the system. I don't even know what's so funny.
We now have a cameraman. He gave me a look. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're a professional.
I am. I wish I could have held that one out. But
No,
yeah,
let's just keep
it
it
makes
rolling.
sense.
Keep it rolling. We keep it real here.
We do.
This is live to tape.
It does make sense though. So when we get back to the standpoint, okay, I want to uncover my abs. I'm going to work them out twice a week.
Right.
Now, you've always heard it, abs are made in the kitchen.
Right.
And I know that you need to start addressing the food standpoint. I came across an article another one where it was titled, Lose Weight, Eat Breakfast.
Okay.
Okay. This one actually came.
It's a very intuitive title.
So you want to talk about going to the doctor and getting clinical? Well, I just Google it, and what's your natural go-to is going to be WebMD.
Right.
Your Google doctor.
I miss the days when I would do that and be Ask Jeeves. That would come up. I miss Jeeves.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
And this article broke it down into saying breakfast is best for fat loss because, and this is kind of interesting, it can actually lead to eating less calories throughout the day by eating breakfast.
Oh.
And because it jumpstarts your metabolism.
Oh, really?
And the quote in there was, when you don't eat breakfast, you're actually fasting for 15 to 20 hours. So you're not producing the enzymes needed to metabolize fat to weight loss. Weight loss.
This could have been a whole episode, this one.
Truth.
This is nothing against WebMD, but WebMD, if you're watching, you need to go and edit this article. You need to change it. So as we've talked many times, breakfast is a behavioral thing. So some people, if they eat breakfast, can end up losing weight better because for their habit, for their schedule, it works better for them.
Right.
But if we look scientifically, does eating breakfast lead to eating less during the course of the day? No. Does eating breakfast first thing in the morning lead to a faster or more efficient metabolism? No. And that's just science. That's not, if it was the other way around, I would say, and this is something that's been studied over and over again. What's very interesting is there was some recent research that looked at people who traditionally eat breakfast. And when they had breakfast, they ate less. When they didn't have breakfast, they ate more. And then on the flip side, people who don't eat breakfast, when they had breakfast, they actually ate more during the course of the day. When they didn't, they ate less. So what does that tell you? Breakfast isn't this magical solution. It's that your eating style, what makes you comfortable, what you can do consistently, is more important than anything. So if you're someone who, by skipping breakfast, you're going to be just ravaging, so hungry, and then overeat at lunch or snack throughout the day, then eating breakfast is probably a good idea. If you're the type of person who isn't hungry in the morning, and if you're eating first thing, you're almost force-feeding yourself. There's a high likelihood that you'll end up eating more than you wanted to simply because you didn't want it. We tapped into this some with intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is great for some people, not because there's some magical fat loss tool, but because what it does is it creates a period of time that works for your schedule that limits the number of hours in the day that you eat. Not because not eating is going to be superior for fat loss, just that you have a smaller window of time to eat. Same idea with breakfast. Some people are breakfast eaters, some people are not. If the habit of eating breakfast helps you eat less throughout the course of the day or control your hunger, it's great, but you shouldn't feel forced to do it because from a metabolic level, from a fat loss level, all things being equal. So if you take a breakfast eater and they eat the same amount of calories, same amount of proteins, fats, carbs in the course of the day as someone who skips breakfast, but whenever they start eating, they still end up eating the same amount as that breakfast eater, they're going to lose the same amount of weight.
Which I think is the hardest part about trying to find science to back that. Because getting a controlled study to actually do that and to compare apples to apples.
But they do it.
They do.
They
it's
do
just
it.
very, very difficult. And to find the reliable sources.
Well, the problem is there's always going to be some confounding variables. Like, is someone exercising? Are they very stressed? Are they not sleeping a lot? There are always variables. Probably not.
Probably not.
But they do look at the metabolic differences of eating versus not eating. So we could say, hey, these people didn't start eating until noon. Did it change the metabolism? Did skipping that first meal slow down their metabolism over the course of the day? No, because with a lot of people, this idea came from the fact that every time that you eat, your metabolism jumps a little bit because the process of breaking down food causes your metabolism to work harder. So this is the same idea with meal frequency. This is why people used to eat 6 to 8 times a day. So I need to eat more meals to burn more fat, but that's not how it works. Because each type of food, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, they all cause your metabolism to work in a different way. So protein causes your metabolism to work really hard. Up to 30% of the food you eat from protein can be metabolized. Carbs and fats, it's going to be less than 10%. So the foods that you eat and the amounts that you eat is what affects your metabolism, not to mention the amount of fat you have on your body or the amount of muscle you have in your body will also impact how you process food. The key takeaway here is that you shouldn't feel that there is only one route that you have to eat, whether it is eating breakfast, whether it's stopping eating in the day at 7 p.m., whether it's eating certain food types. There's so much more flexibility and freedom than you think. At the end of the day, it comes down to the foods that you're choosing, the amounts that you're choosing, and just making it work for you.
Okay, well, another article that I came across where this one I was pleasantly surprised.
I like this.
I know. Not totally bashful.
So we would give it the "that's healthy" right stamp of approval. It's not even the question.
I would
It's
actually.
just an exclamation
I
point.
really approve this one.
Really?
Because when I read the title, I thought we were in for it. I thought this was going to be the entire show. And the title from Women's Health was 11 nutritionists share the Amazon product they'd recommend if you're trying to lose weight.
Shake weight.
Right?
Shake weight. Shake weight.
I mean, I instantly thought, I was like, great, this is going to be a lot of fat loss supplements or some sort of miracle food or whatever.
Right.
And what they recommended, they gave obviously 11 products, and I'll run through it really quick. A daily food journal,
Okay.
a measuring cup and spoon set, mason jars, whey protein, digital scale, George Foreman grill, and a meat thermometer, 8-inch white plate sets, a manicure kit, dry erase board, and a slow cooker.
Are you sure that this isn't your birthday wish list?
Well, they had me a manicure kit.
That's why I
It's like
thought.
stamp of approval.
You do have amazing nails. So
First and foremost, when I read that, and especially when you just look at the list itself, it's very bizarre. But it all kind of made sense. And I think, especially in my case, when I've transitioned, and for people that may or may not know, transitioned through food disorders, a lot of these were so critical in my recovery. And there's quite a few that I would like, and I would say, just to address it here, the one I found most interesting when I read it at first was the manicure kit.
that's where I want to start.
Yeah, right? Well,
Why?
I would dive into that one just because, and from your advice too, when I chose a recovery path, it was very much CBT, the cognitive behavioral therapy. And that addressed, when I had this urge to overeat, finding a substitute. And what they said with the manicure kit was that nutritionist was saying, right when she was done, if she felt the urge to snack, she would start to do her nails. And that's why she was recommending the
That's
manicure.
a great tip. Did you do hair care? Was that your replacement?
I actually just waxed my legs.
Only your legs?
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. But out of those items, so that I did find that very beneficial. That's a much bigger picture
Right,
item
so the
than
idea
just
that you find something that you enjoy
to replace the urge.
and keep you busy.
Correct.
Pretty interesting.
Of those, do you find anything that you would recommend to any of your clients?
You know that I love daily food journals.
Yes.
And usually only for a week or two. Some people love counting calories, and like those people, when it fits their personality, if you love counting calories, then you should count calories. But there is no need to count calories or obsess over foods or even measure foods. But the reason why I love the food journal is that oftentimes we're not even aware of the mistakes that we made.
Right.
You know, we eat and we feel the foods that we're eating are healthy or the amounts that we're eating, and it's almost like auditing yourself.
Yeah.
The hardest part about a food journal is like being honest. Like when I keep a food journal and right before I go to bed, I have 6 scoops of like Justin's almond butter because it's delicious.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, I don't really need to track that, even though that was like 700 calories right there. And but like, the best thing that we could do, like with our coaching clients, or really for anyone, is to put them in control of their own body, to put them in control of their diet. And it's a beautiful thing if we ask all of our clients for the first week just to track it. And if they don't want to be on that time, but that first week, track it, because it helps us, but more importantly, if they're being honest, when they look at it, they're like, oh my goodness.
Right.
Like when they can self-identify the problems, they can start course correcting and making the adjustments. So I love the food journal just for a short period of time, because it's something that you could go and do for 1 week, just track everything, and it's going to be mind-blowing for most people, either how much or how little they're eating, or the surprising foods that kind of sink their diet.
Yeah.
For me, it's always nut butters, almond butter, cashew butter, peanut butter. I love that stuff. It's not bad for you, but it's very calorically dense. You know, you have 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and it's 180 calories.
Right.
And 2 tablespoons really isn't that much. That goes real quick. So I think the food journal is great. What else did they have on here? Whey protein. I love whey protein, not because it's magical, but the beautiful thing about protein is it is more satiating. So if you need more protein in your diet, if you need a little snack substitute, you know me, I make my little pudding thing in the morning and at night. I put in a scoop of whey protein. Sometimes I'll put some Greek yogurt in there. I throw in maybe a tablespoon or half a tablespoon of almond butter. I keep it, again, that's my guilty pleasure, but it's a small enough dose, and I mix that up, and that keeps me full. So it's one of those things that as long as, you know, we can't fight against the urge to eat. It's important to eat and not restrict yourself. But finding a replacement that can satisfy you, whether you make a pudding or a smoothie that tastes great, because it's a way to sneak in fruits, vegetables, that's, I love that. So it's actually nice job. Was that Women's Health?
Yeah.
Nicely done. Good tips right there.
Very good. Okay. Viewer question.
Love them.
Yep. Coming in hot from Rebecca.
Do they ever come in cold?
Nope.
Maybe today. It's a little frigid up there.
It could.
I came in cold.
Rebecca Tatiana Bellis.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, Rebecca.
Quickest way to lose weight is dropping carbs worthwhile.
Oh, wow, that's a big one.
It is.
Okay, Rebecca, so the quickest way to lose weight is going to start with where your weight is right now, and then where you want to be, and then break it down into increments. Because a lot of people will see where they are, and they'll just like adjust blindly without ever thinking about where they want to be. And again, I don't like obsessing over numbers, but it gives you a base rate target to look at. So the quickest way to lose weight, let's say you're 160 pounds and you want to be 140 pounds. I would break it down in 10-pound increments so that you don't end up being too restrictive, because eating for a body that is 20 pounds less than where you're at right now is a big difference. It's the same idea that if you're 180 pounds and you want to weigh 220, you want to put on 40 pounds. If you start eating like someone who's 220, you're going to put on a lot of fat, and it's going to be really difficult, and it's going to be a huge stressor. So what's more important is to break this into smaller goals. And for most people, but not for everyone, I recommend keeping as many carbs as possible. And the reason is people love carbs.
Right.
We said that fat loss can essentially be an equation. So your job is to, like, if you're going from that 160 to 140, you would want to start with that 150 weight. So you'd want to eat for your body at 150 pounds. There are lots of calculators that can help with that. But you want to imagine that you're going to be eating for a body that is, 150 pounds, and you want to create a variation where the total number of food you eat in a day is the amount that a 150-pound person should be eating. And the carbs are on the higher end of that. Because again, you can manipulate proteins, fats, or carbohydrates. I usually like keeping protein steady. So for me, if you wanted to weigh 150 pounds, that would be about 110 to 150 grams of protein. So anywhere about 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound or per goal weight. And then keep those carbs higher, and as you hit those plateaus, that's when you start dropping carbs. There is no magic in fat loss to removing all carbs. It's no different than removing protein or fats or, like we said, carbohydrates. But because most people enjoy carbohydrates, if you remove them right away, people get frustrated and they back themselves into a plateau. So you want to gradually remove carbs, but you don't have to remove all carbohydrates. It is not more effective to have no carbs and a ton of fat and protein for fat loss than it is to say have a balanced diet.
So don't be afraid of carbs.
Don't be afraid of carbs, and you're not alone. Everyone is afraid of carbs. For the last 25 years now, we've created carb phobia. Before that, it was 20 years of fat phobia. There's no need to be afraid of them. Food is food. Food is good. It's just understanding how to eat it in the right amounts.
God, don't ever introduce a protein phobia.
Oh my
I don't
goodness.
know what I'll do.
You would lead the rebellion. You would lead the protein rebellion.
All right, well, that wraps up another week of That's Healthy, Right?
Thank you, everyone.
And hopefully it's a lot warmer next week and my abs will be ready.
Are you going to take off your shirt next week?
No, absolutely not.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.